Well, we got a guy. Well, everyone, we found a guy. Hello, this is Tom. We have some transfer portal news for Rutgers basketball, and we get a guy. We talked about this guy yesterday, and it's George Washington University forward Darren Buchanan. We talked a little bit about his uh, production yesterday over 2 seasons. He averaged 13 points per game, 6.2 rebounds, 2.2 assists, 1 steal for the George Washington Revolutionaries, formerly the Colonials. It sounds like a team league that Rutgers would have been associated with not too long ago as a public liberal arts university founded in 1766. Nonetheless, we talked a little bit about Buchanan yesterday, where he shined as a freshman, took a step back. As a sophomore, there were some compelling circumstances with that, and I didn't love that, especially when it was reported that we're also going after Juice Limbodo at a high point, who also wasn't as productive as sophomore year, as freshman year. Nonetheless, Buchanan's production dipped this year from almost 16 points a game to 10.6 points per game and 5.5 rebounds. Apparently, he mid-season had an ankle injury, and as we know, we dealt with injuries that severely impacted both Rutgers basketball and Rutgers football. And George Washington this past year, they had some more weapons. They, last year they were 15 and 17. Sound familiar? Added some guys, and they were 21 and 13 this year. And they were 9 and 9 in the conference, whereas last year they were 4 and 14, and that's in the Atlantic 10. So there were some compelling circumstances. Mid-season injury, and you're trying to get, you have new additions in there. You're trying to get chemistry, figure out the rotation. He's in the lineup. He's out of the lineup, so we kind of get that. But there is potential upside there, and he is a Rutgers guy, and we'll get to some of that in a second. Not, Jerry Carino reported on some of his production. Not a big sample size against high majors. He, against Kansas State, 9 points, 3 of 11 shooting, not great. 7 rebounds and 5 assists. And he actually played a full 40 minutes in that game. And then against South Carolina, he had 18 points, 6 of 11 shooting, 6 boards and 2 assists as a freshman. So, he has experience against the big boys. And talked about this yesterday. We seem to find those guys. I went through Buchanan's stats as a freshman. 15.6 points per game, 55% field goal, 32% from 3, 63% free throws. Then in this past season, talked about 10.6 points per game. Field goal percentage drops to 45% and 17.5% from 3. But his free throw percentage went up a few points to 66%. So, we are that team that has guys that struggle from 3. But the attraction is his physicality, and he's absolutely a Steve Pikiell, Rutgers kind of guy. His big frame, 6'7", 235, not afraid of contact. He's exactly the kind of ball that Steve Pikiell and Rutgers wants to play. I think it was Brian Fonseca today. He said, "No, what is it? It's back to Stone Age basketball." I don't have a problem with that. We just need to be a little more productive on the offensive side without changing our entire identity. He's going to be a big wing. He does most of his scoring damage close to the basket. So uh, not quite the balanced wing that Steve Peichel talked about wanting to get, and then I said that we're going to need. Uh, but it's a big body, and I kind of like that. And we'll get to the rotation, a potential rotation in a second. Jerry Carino said coming out of Jackson Reed High School in Washington, D.C., he was the D.C. Player of the Year, where he seemed to be dipping more into the D.C. market, including on football. And that was 2022. Three-star prospect, enrolled at Virginia Tech, was redshirted there before transferring to George Washington. And apparently, according to Jerry Carino, Michael has been following him since his high school days when T.J. Thompson was the lead assistant there. And for Steve Michael to be following a guy like Buchanan, as big and physical as he is not a surprise. Now he gets a second crack at him. Here's a little something that I think coach in the university athletic department is going to like a lot, and this was also reported by Jerry Carino. He used his NIL money to host a free basketball camp for kids, gave away 120 backpacks filled with school supplies, free haircuts, back-to-school event, homemade meals, homeless shelters for Thanksgiving, served as a secret Santa during Christmas time for some D.C. area families, buying the presents on their wish lists. I'm not sure, might have been the guys from the Night Report might have reported that a few weeks ago. I think I might remember that. And his quote was, Buchanan's quote, "I'm not a materialistic guy, so I use NIL to fund all that stuff. I just feel like it was something bigger than me." You absolutely, positively know Coach Peichel will love that. Nociano and Coach Peichel would say he is a cultural fit. And that kind of puts, the amateurism back in what's now no longer amateur athletics. It's professional athletics. So, I kind of like that. I just hope he can, hit some shots and hit some free throws when we need it, and be that wing defender that we're looking for. And we have a really well-rounded guy at Rutgers that we can be proud of. So, a depth chart. We found the guy, but we got a lot of work to do yet. So, our guards are going to be J. Mike, point guard Mark, who will be coming in, and two guard Caden Powers. The new guys, the young guys, are going to have to step in and grow up quick, especially if we don't land portal guys. They're going to have to contribute right away. This is the new reality with transfer portal, NIL. Guys, coaches not pursuing high school students as much. And so if a freshman gets his chance, he's going to have to commit, be productive and grow up quick right away. So, when you have J. Mike's production, he's a 5.2 rebound, 2 assist kind of guy, 37% shooter, 28% from three. And, a couple freshmen is not going to get it done. I don't know if Tariq Francis is still on the wish list or is going to be somebody that we land, but we are absolutely, positively going to have to find some guards. Our wings, we're going to have size. We're going to have some bulk and some defense, and I kind of like this. All right, we're going to have Dylan Grant. We've been through his story throughout the year. Average 6 points per game, 3 rebounds, 57% free throws, 45.5% field goal percentage, 23% from three. So our front court guys are not going to be 3-point shooters. But I do like the possibilities here of having a really big, stingy front court. We're going to have liability shooting, which makes it all more important. Find guys in the portal that can at least be average to slightly above average 3-point shooters. So when we get some guards in here, Tariq Francis is shooting, at 6 foot, 180, shooting 32% from three. Yeah, I don't really know about that. But you throw in Bryce Storch, 6'9", athletic, can play defense. We have a potential wall there. George, once again, not very productive in the scoring department. Average 1 point per game, 42% free throws. I don't know where we find these guys, man. I mean, I get it that, defense is your game, but free throws in the 40s and 50%, that drives me nuts. He did shoot 71%. A lot of that's going to be inside. So we have three very similar guys, bigs, front court, whatever you want to call them. I kind of like that stylistically. Is it good? Is it bad? Who knows? Perhaps collectively we can be better as the whole than this. The sum of the parts will be better than the individual players that we have. Houston's front court, all those guys are like 6'6" to 6'11", and they have them and Duke had top defenses in the country this past year. So we hope that we can be better than our individual parts, and I think that plays to the way Coach Peichel teaches, the way that he coaches, and we're going to need to get some shooters and a scorer. We do have 6'8", 215-pound forward Chris Newilly coming in. Maybe he grows an inch or two, and he's now 6'9", 6'10", puts on a couple more LBs. Once again, maybe he's going to have some impact. 4-star freshman. These guys are going to have to be ready. I don't know that Coach Peichel or Coach Shiano, they kind of like to see their guys develop, but I think the new reality is guys are going to have to contribute right away. So then we'll have Emmanuel Ogboli. We'll see what happens there. Javante Ware, another freshman. He's 6'9", 235, so another big guy. If he grows another inch, and he's 6'10", 250. 3-star forward that was offered by Alabama. Might have been, was it South Carolina as well? He had a couple offers on the table, but the big one was Alabama. So he can kind of also add bulk and size to a front court that, if nothing else, will be large. So we can see we've swung all the way in the other direction. We went from being this finesse kind of soft team to now being big, bulky, have a couple athletes in there, longer kind of guys. It seems like we swung really far the other way. Well, remains to be seen if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I would have liked a little more methodical process and putting the pieces of the puzzle together, but it is what it is now. Now we have to rebuild, and I think the bigger picture is, and even Brian Fonseca, when he's the voice of reason on the Rutgers rant today, was talking about, hey, we have to deal with the reality that we're going to go back to our identity of a defensive first team. And these are, the building blocks, the pieces of the puzzle to create our identity. It's not a finished product yet. We do have 4 open scholarships, and we'll see what happens in the portal. I don't think it's, of course, anything comes out, any news comes out, we'll continue to talk about, discuss, break it down. But I don't think there's not going to be any sort of earth-shattering news. I think it's going to be guys like Buchanan who have upside, who can play defense, who are big, have some athleticism, and can contribute to the core identity of size, defense, athleticism, and then if they're good citizens like Buchanan is, all the better. And I think that's the road that we're going down. So there we have it, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your week. We'll get back to you soon if there's anything more to report, and we'll see you the next time.